Mr. Chinedu Michael, the world has yet again woken up to another reality, talking about this new development from Israeli Knesset, a situation where initially, after getting 24 members voting for Biafra freedom, we are coming to the realization that as we have it, 70 members that are needed to authenticate it have already endorsed it. This, I must say, is a welcome development. But let me get an immediate reaction.
Good news on yes, wider jubilation to people all over the world, lovers of freedom. This is a what I can call a long walk to freedom. It's not yet uru, if I can put it that way, but at least to an extent, we are seeing the required number, endorsing the executive to do the needful. And I learned that they have already formalized the document properly, and there is also the presence of powerful other people who are making sure that Benjamin Netanyahu are sent to it. If not, the visitor he had in Israel yesterday, the president, the prime minister of India, had a courtesy visit, with the Israeli president. Good news, of course, long awaited. I don't want to start mentioning names, but a special thank you to Yaakov Magi, for standing and defending, the reality on ground. The next move, what we are going to see now, yes, is going to be an official presentation to the executive. That's how it is being done. Where every other thing will be taken into consideration, both legal framework and other things will also come follow up immediately. But there's something we need to understand about this before they actually start this process. I think this is the fastest votes in terms of declaring a nation, a sovereign nation, going through this process from the history of the world. This is the first time it's happening in the parliament, the Knesset, or the Knesset, let me put it that way, taking such a decision. It weakens the people who thought that IPOB are not actually, working in that direction. But you can see the development now. Nigerian government has never officially reported it, and we don't need them to actually report it. But they will hear it, either by omission or by commission, that when Israel rises to proclaim their official recognition, because that is what is actually needed now, by the executive. So it has to go through that legislation. And while it is going through that legislation, the entire hierarchy of the Biafran government, let me just put it that way, was in Netherlands, somewhere in Hague, where they officially presented territorial integrity and boundaries of Biafra to the World Court and, of course, other international organization. It was officially submitted about a few hours ago, and as you can see in this video too, that is actually playing out, you can see the environment, you can see them addressing Biafrans all over the world on the level of achievement they have also achieved. In case this thing takes everybody by sudden, at least the international community, world leaders and relevant authorities and organizations are already aware, because we will need our territorial waters to be protected. We need of course our airspace, and direction and all that. So everything is just working. For those who does not know, they are actually doing a lot in that direction. So that document is already in the office, and I want to say a big one, a big win for Biafrans all over the world. And back to Israel, of course, that is the center of the essence of this interview today. What we are seeing that is going to happen, likely everybody should just be hopeful that at the end of the day there will be good news. Yes, we'll hear that the Israeli foreign affairs minister is also involved. I think by today or tomorrow, by Monday, there will be an exclusive meeting with the people who has already voted. I think the required number they have gotten the required number, and they have voted. 70 of them has actually voted for the empowering the president or the prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to make an official declaration in recognition of Biafra. It is going to be mind-blowing the day and hour it's going to happen. Nobody knows. But I think the news will continue to filter in when and how and when it is going to be done and how it was done. And it is going to be something the world will know. It's not going to be a hidden thing, just like the way they came out boldly and addressed the issue of Somaliland recognition as a sovereign nation. So
okay,
that is the game.
Here, we understand that, John, like he said, the leader of the India was in Israel the other day, where he even addressed Israeli assets. And the way it is, from just like he said, the ball is likely going to be the court of the Prime Minister of Israel, who will have to enforce the resolution of the House. Don't forget that even the Prime Minister of Israel, talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, at some point, he raised issue about Christian persecutions, where he specifically mentioned Nigeria. We understand that once we talk about Christianity in Nigeria, Biafra comes to mind. It looks as if these are part of what influenced his decision in Israel.
For over 50-something years, a lot of people begin to wonder, are these things actually getting along very well? But it becomes very clear when Nigeria has taken a certain position. We saw it very clearly just recently when the US report actually came out, the one that Ranimo actually presented. And they look at the North is defending and saying it very publicly that Nigeria is a Muslim nation. And of course, there are Muslims in the Igbo land, there's Muslims in the Yoruba land, there's Muslims everywhere. And that is the reason why Nigeria is an Islamic nation. Then the question is this now, based on that position, I think that was what led the Vice President Shetima to the United Nations General Assembly to make that kind of statement, against Israel. We are mourning over the October 7 invasion by extremists and radical Islam, Hamas and the rest of the Hezbollah, and then invaded Israel. And instead of at least telling the story of what happened, of what led to Israel, rising against these people within that came into Israel communities and begin to disallow the Jews, Nigeria defended them, and they now said, okay, if it has gone to that point, they will not tell them that, irrespective of how you look at Israel as a nation, Israel still remain the most powerful nation in the world today, and no nation, so what for now, no nation crosses their path, as a threat and survive. But now they have looked at it very well and said, okay, I think it's going to be a very big advantage for us now to take a proper decision. After all, this cry has been long, and this thing has been identified over and over and over and again. And this global push and reawakening of the level of threat powerful nations, especially Christian nations all over the world, are receiving from Islamic jihadists and the rest of them, actually triggered the position and the decision the Israeli government is taking today about the restoration of Biafra, and that is what it is. So, and don't be surprised that having looked at the United States of America and the kind of report Ralima actually put down there, it is going to be very difficult for them to understand that we do not need to cohabit with radical extremist ideology as Christians, and of course, at the end of the day, we'll start having the same challenges Israel and Hamas are actually having. Then as God will have it, we saw a sudden change of direction by the Israeli parliament, the Knesset or the Knesset, whichever way you will call it, rising up and said, no, this is the time. And we can see within a few days, we can see speed of resolutions taken in that direction. It has gotten to that point now, and I believe that before it will even come to the position of where the House will actually, the Parliament, the Israeli Parliament, the MKs will actually take such decision, it means that it has the Prime Minister's nod at the end of the day. But if you look at the sudden turnaround within the global diplomatic circle, where we begin to see one of the most powerful nations in the Asia, I'm talking about India, Prime Minister visiting on the day there was a resolution, they concluded, the Parliament themselves themselves concluded and voted overwhelmingly for the Biafran declaration was the Indian Prime Minister Modi was in Israel.
Let me say very thank you for your time. We hope to continue this conversation next time. Thank you very much.